Yo, what's up? This is Ed Ray, and I'm going to show you 7 ways to increase the perceived value of your offer. And now, the reason why this is really important is because a lot of people think that you have to change the actual thing that you're selling in order for it to be more valuable to people, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, I'm all about having a good product, so this is assuming that you actually have something that actually really helps people. Um, so let's dive in. So this is gonna be helpful for, for you if you sell your own offers, you sell offers for clients. So basically anybody who has an offer, product, service, whatever, what have you. This works for high ticket, low ticket, e-com, software as a service, brick and mortar, anybody who's selling something, especially online, and especially if you use ads or content, or sales as well. So I'm going to start off with a quick story, like a quick analogy, and dive into some of the core principles behind why these 7 ways work. And then these are just going to be super tactical. You're going to love this. So have you ever maybe been wanting to go to a restaurant with some friends, and you're like, oh man, this restaurant sounds really good. Like, it's really good. I've been here before. And then your friend's kind of on the fence about it, and like, yeah, I don't know. And then you say something. Maybe you say something like, oh yeah, and by the way, it's like an all-you-can-eat. Or they're like, oh yeah, by the way, like Jelf Goldblum was seen there last week. Or, oh, on Thursdays tacos are half off. And then their eyes open up wide and they go, well, why didn't you say that, right? So what happened there was, you didn't realize this, but the core value proposition that you had, you saved it for last when you should lead with that, right? Why didn't you say that? So you didn't change anything about the offer, right? Maybe it was a Mexican place and you're talking about like, oh yeah, they do really, really good tacos, or they do, tequila shots are really awesome over there. But until you said on Tuesdays, tacos are half off, that person wasn't super interested, but maybe they wanted to save some money, right? But so you didn't change anything about what it actually was. You just changed the perceived value of it by changing how you explain it, right? And so none of this is about adding a guarantee, making a bigger promise, or changing your pricing structure, okay? I know that those are these super, super common ways of raising the perceived value, but a lot of this stuff, some of these are going to be when you're actually selling to the prospect. But a lot of these are actually before you even sell to the prospect, and little subtle content tweaks you can use to really up the perceived value of the thing you're selling, even if they don't know what it is that you're selling, which we can talk about more in a second. So most of this is totally brand new, or we maybe haven't heard of before, because it comes from my personal $30 million in revenue generated from my clients, consulting them on offers, positioning, messaging, copywriting, ads, funnels, for dozens of 7 to 9-figure brands. Honestly, it's closer to 50 at this point. I've also sold green supplements, Christian Bible summaries, and $50,000 coaching programs. I've been the brains behind a lot of this. I've also got 9 years in the direct response marketing industry, 6 years of those as a copywriter, and about 2.5 to 3 years of those as a consultant. So I've just seen tons of business models, seen tons of different arenas and niches, and so that's why we can pull some more unique insights, because I've actually done this. I didn't just read a fucking book and, oh, look at me, I'm teaching now. So the crux of it, the core of it is increased perceived value comes from these things. Framing, which is kind of how you explain it, or positioning. Exclusivity, so people want what they can't have, especially when it's high demand, which we'll talk about in a second. Ease of use, right? Because it's not just about the perceived value of the thing itself. It's also about how helpful you think it's going to be for you. There's increase of social status. This is a really, really big one that not enough people talk about, and we'll talk about this today. Confidence that they'll achieve the results. So this is where the whole work with you free till you do guarantee came from. We don't want that. And finally, social conditioning, which we cover a ton today. So way number one, and I wanted to kick off with something super, super tactical, because I think this is just super helpful. when I was marketing, well, almost any time I market my clients' products, even now with consulting, sometimes I will talk to people just out in the wild. I'm out on having dinner, or I'm just making friends with strangers, or I'm at like a bar, and I see someone who maybe could be part of the demographic of person I'm trying to sell to. And what I do is I go up to them, and I just start in our conversation. I subtly add in information about the product that I'm selling. So let's say I'm talking to a girl, maybe she's like 24, 25, so she's like looking for skincare stuff, and somehow we got on the conversation topic of skincare. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, maybe one of my clients has a skincare product, right? So I say to her, I was like, oh, hey, I'm really curious, like, because I'm looking to upgrade my skill or my skin. Like, what about this skincare product do you like that you use right now? Oh, I like this, and this, and this, and that. And then I go, oh, well, what don't you like about it? And she goes, okay, well, this, and that. I'm like, how interesting. Okay, so the main problem you find with a lot of these skincare products is this, XYZ, right? And she goes, yes. And I go, okay, because I just heard about this new thing where you're able to really hydrate your skin, and by the way, this is totally fictional. Really hydrate your skin because there's certain ingredients in this specific skincare thing I just heard about that actually, hydrates, most skincare hydrates the top level of the skin, while this one actually hydrates and gives nutrients to the deeper layer of skin. And so actually any like deep scars or tissues or whatever get hydrated, and, the scar tissue gets broken up. So actually, as the new skin forms, your top layer of skin looks closer to like baby skin, so it's a lot more smooth and soft and hydrated, and it doesn't leave you feeling like greasy and gross and weird, right? And then if their eyes light up and like, holy shit, that sounds amazing, then you kind of know you have your pitch, or at least like you know that that's of interest to this person. And if you're not quite as extroverted as me and you're doing sales calls, in your sale, like during the sales pitch, when you're explaining what the offer is, when someone's eyes light up, or like they're like, oh man, that's exactly what I need, as soon as you say it, that's usually going to be your main selling point, or the main thing to increase the perceived value. And so as we go through the rest of this, just keep this in mind, because this is the most tactical component. And so this is going to be how you're going to test the rest of these things. So you're going to learn these next 6 principles, and you're going to use this tactic to test them out on your market and in your content too. So this also applies to like when you're writing content, let's say, and you use one of these of the next 6 ways, you're going to be able to gauge your audience's engagement and go, oh, okay, actually people really resonated with this specific way of explaining the thing. Okay, let's start leading with that, right? And the reason why I use Don Draper here, this scene from Mad Men, is because the first episodes, he's at a bar and he's talking to a guy who would be a smoker, who is a smoker, and is basically asking him like, hey, why wouldn't you use, I think it's Marlboro or something like that. He said, why wouldn't you use this cigarette? What would have to happen for you to change it over? And so I thought it was appropriate, because that's basically what we're doing here, just to engage with the actual audience, because no one actually fucking does that. Do that if you want to make more sales. Secondly, sell to identity. So the way you want to think about this is framing your product as people who buy XYZ, so your product, are people who ... right? So the example here is these 3 cars. We have a Lambo, a Toyota SUV, and a Honda Civic. So you look at the Lambo. What does this tell you about this person? Obviously, everyone has a different interpretation. Some people might say that, oh, wow, that's a wealthy business owner. Other people might say it's a narcissistic asshole. Other people might say, oh, they're superficial, whatever, right? So that's the identity of being, status and wealthy, right? Generally speaking. Toyota SUV, right? Somebody who, right? Now, you might be wondering, how the hell is their status or identity around an SUV? Well, people buy things that say something about themselves, right? And so if you want to be seen as a good parent, imagine you drive up to the soccer meet if you're a soccer mom, right? And you and your kid are in a Lambo, people are going to be like, what the fuck, right? But if you drive up in a Toyota SUV, that's, more socially acceptable. Because the Lambo is unsafe, but the Toyota SUV is very, very safe. It's very practical. It's, fuel efficient. It's family friendly, right? So you're seen as a good parent, right? So people who buy the Toyota SUVs are good parents who care about their kids, right? And then Honda Civic, people who buy Honda Civics are people who, care about reliability, affordability, and economics, right? Because it's got good fuel mileage. So when you're selling your product, you want to subtly shift people's perception of what it is that you sell so that they think that they will be this type of person that they aspire to be like. So whatever those traits are, whatever that perception is, really play that up in your marketing, because people don't just buy things, they buy better versions of themselves. I've heard that from one of my early mentors, and it's so beyond true. Way number 3 is solution slinging, and this is probably one of my favorite things. And so earlier I mentioned that one of the main reasons for perceived value increase is to increase the odds of success, right? Or perceived odds of success. If you're selling handbags, I don't really think you have to worry about that so much here. But if you're selling a product or a service that does something for someone, for example, one of my buddies, he sells breakdancing hoodies that specifically have this incredible material that help you do power moves and spinning on your head, on your back and stuff way better, and it's like super durable and it's incredible. Shout out to you, Matt, if you're watching this. And so for that would make sense because it's actually doing something. If you're just selling a chair or table, maybe not so much. Anyway, so with solution slinging, I call it a solution because especially when you're selling something that has like direct benefits of losing weight or making money or doing backspins, people will have tried other things in the past to get this result, right? And so just making the offer of, hey, I have a backspinning hoodie, or hey, I have a weight loss program, people are going to be skeptical because they're like, I've done those before, I've tried that before. So they're not sold on your offer. So now they have to be sold on the solution. So if you think about it, we have the prospect, we have the solution, and then we have the offer. So they first have to be sold on the solution, aka the new way for them to achieve results, for them to then be sold on your offer. So I'll give you a couple examples because that was a bit hypothetical. Let's say something weight loss, right? So you could say, hey, join my weight loss program and I'll help you lose 12 pounds in the next 10 days, right? Whatever. Now you see enough of that, and then people start to get really resistant to that messaging, right? There's no solution in place. So you telling everybody else. But if you say, hey, I'm going to help you lose 12 pounds in the next 10 days using the keto diet, okay, you've got a solution there, right? Now, the thing is, enough people have heard about keto that they're going to still be resistant to that. And so their confidence in achieving results will go down, right? And so the perceived value also goes down. And so we want to make sure that the perceived value stays way high, because that's how we get more clients and more customers, and we get to charge as much as we'd like. So what you do instead here is you would say, hey, so we're going to help you lose 12 pounds in the next 10 days using what we call reverse keto. So most people actually do keto all wrong, where they don't, use whatever grains and carbs. But actually, we found that if you, again, this is totally all bullshit. I'm just making this up. If you strategically cycle carbs combined with the keto diet, you're actually able to still eat cakes and cookies and whatever on a pretty consistent basis, while still following the keto diet, which is it's much more long-term and sustainable. And actually, it supercharges your effects for losing weight. Again, this is all bullshit. I just made this up, but if that's true, it'd be fucking awesome, right? So now it's like, oh wow, that's a new solution. Like that sounds awesome. So the reason why keto wasn't sustainable before was because I wasn't eating the carbs, and then eventually, I would just first of all lose lack of will, because if I'm seeing my friends every single week and going for beers with the boys, I can't drink with them. I can't have nachos. I can't have a burger with them or nothing. It doesn't really work out, right? But if you say that they can do this maybe once or twice a week while still following keto for the most part, that's a pretty good solution, right? Or maybe they just had cravings, or just their energy was super low, right? So this combats all that. So to increase your perceived value of your offer, you really want to sling your solution, especially in your content. And so when you're doing that, especially in your content, you want to talk about why they failed in the past. So, hey, the reason why you've failed to lose weight in the past is because X, Y, Z, right? You want to showcase how they'll be able to actually lose weight consistently now because of this new process. And finally, we want to explain how this process works too. And so now we're selling them on this reverse keto process. We're not selling them on a 10-day weight loss program. You see the difference? And so, and this is the key. In your content, you sell people on your solution, and then people usually will reach out to you in the DMs asking about, hey, I'm really curious about your reverse keto solution. Could you help me with that? Or, hey, I'm looking to lose weight. Could you help me with that? Because they know that you hold the solution, but they just don't know about the offer. And so now you're actually able to sell them on your offer in the DMs or over the phone, versus what everyone else does, which is just makes their content timeline just this attention whore, I call it an offer whore. What's it called? Circus of just pitching. Make more offers works until it doesn't. I prefer to, make consistent content and sell people on the solution and have them get indoctrinated enough until they go, oh wow, Ed really knows what he's talking about. And he's got the key to, the results I'm looking for. Why don't I just reach out to him and see if he can help me? And then whatever offer I think makes sense for them, I'll just sell them that. Because most people will disqualify themselves from your offer before you even get to pitch them, if your offer is just too direct, right? So this is why I recommend to my clients to not be super forthcoming about what exactly they sell in their content. Instead, be clear about your solutions. So there's that. Next up, show demand. And so this isn't just testimonials. Well, that's super helpful. This is dropping subtle hints and showing that people want what you're selling. So you can talk about how many DMs you've been receiving lately. You can talk about that you're almost out of stock, that people are buying it a lot. Because humans ascertain the correct thing to do by looking to what other humans are doing. And so if you're saying other people are buying this thing, other people are asking about this thing, other people are, wanting to get more information about this thing, that shows demand, shows that you're in motion and momentum, that you're wanted, that your offer's wanted, or your solution, and it makes them want to reach out and be curious too. So earlier I mentioned ease of use, and skincare does this so well, but almost no other industry does it, which is very funny. So ease of use, right? The easiest way to talk about ease of use is to showcase how they can integrate your offer, product, service, whatever, into their daily routine. I mean, in skincare commercials, ladies, they always say, oh, just add this to your morning routine, right? Your morning skincare routine. Because it makes it sound so effortless to actually use. So if you're in BizOp, you could say hey, you can do this in just half an hour before work, and half an hour during your lunch break. Integrate it into the routine. Make it fucking easy. Make it flawless, right? Weight loss, right? You could say, hey, just do this. This 15-minute workout while you're playing with your kids, or you could integrate this and say, hey, if you're playing with your kids, like you could have this workout be part of your playtime. So that makes it so much easier because that really overcomes the will I get results objection, and also the will I fucking use it objection. That's a huge objection people actually have is I'm scared I'm going to buy this thing and not use it. So if you can show that it's actually really easy to integrate into the routine, it's going to be impossible for them not to want to buy. Number 6, share the backstory. Now this is a chair. But what if I told you that this chair actually belonged to Queen Elizabeth's great grandmother's sister, and has been through multiple world wars and actually was a prized possession in World War One, where the I forget the Axis and Allies, whatever it is. And anyway, and this was like one of the remaining pieces of furniture from this what's it called? Like basically like the house got ransacked, and this was like the final piece that was left untouched by, I guess it's like robbers or people who just like attacked her house, right? How fucking valuable would that be, right? So the story I told you was complete bullshit. This totally untrue. Totally fucking untrue. But that just raised the perceived, oh my god, that's so crazy. Like that's the backstory of this chair. That's so incredible. And you could sell this thing to collectors for probably like $200,000, maybe, you know, like, or even to like to the average person for like, you know, 30, 40 grand, whatever it is, right? So sorry for playing a trick on you, but that goes to show the power of a backstory. If you explain how something was made and why something was made too, that's a key one, especially if you sell information or coaching or, again, products or services that actually do stuff for people, not just mugs. It becomes so much more valuable, right? And so if you sell like, you know, e-commerce, even honestly, even mugs, you could be like, oh yeah, you know, I just didn't, you know, find any mugs that look suitable to me, and I really love gold, and so boop, there we go, right? If you're selling coaching, you could say, hey, you know, well, I've tried all these different things in the past, and, you know, no one was able to help me manage my finances. I actually lost money in the market, and, you know, it was super complicated swing trading, and I, you know, paid a bunch in taxes that even though I lost a bunch of money, whatever, right? And you could say, oh yeah, actually, so I made this, you know, this program because I was tired of getting taken advantage of by financial institutions. That's the backstory. Increase the perceived value, right? So do that. That's super, super key. But make sure you don't fabricate the story. Make sure it's actually true. And if you sell somewhat of a commodity, it's important to explain the backstory of how it was made. It's like, oh, you know, every time, you know, this. Okay, let's say we're selling not this chair, but let's say a chair. Actually, don't fuck it. We'll do this chair. Explain the story of how it's made. It's like, you know, again, I'm just making this up. You know, first the golden legs and arms and back are handcrafted in Italy with real 24 karat gold, and it's like, you know, glazed onto this, you know, birch wood. Collected from the you know, southern tribes in Africa, and, you know, combining those two together is a subtle nod to, I don't know, some shit, some historical thing, you know, or like, you know, the peace between, you know, nations, right? And, you know, because the legs and the tops, the arms and the back are gold, it's a nod to, like, you know, humans having you know, strong legs, strong arms, and strong head, you know, for making decisions and being a leader, right? So that, you know, you could, again, only if this is what you truly believe in is true, you could say that, right? But then we believe that the body, you know, the torso, is meant to relax, meant to rest, and so we made the most comfortable leather-backed seat, or plush, whatever the hell this is, in order, you know, fit for a ruler, right? So that's like, oh, wow, that's like, okay, you know, that makes sense. So share the backstory. Way number 7 is to limit supply and access. So this was a fun one. A lot of people think that you have to limit to, oh, we're only going to take on 3 people. And that's super helpful. One thing I've been seeing a lot of people do lately is limit, like have like a wait list. So it's like, hey, I'm going to have X amount of, spots open for now, and then I'm going to close it until I open up again. So that's been super helpful for a lot of people I hear. Some people also only take on a certain amount of clients every single week or month or quarter or year. It's like, hey, we only take on 3 clients per year, so make sure you get in here, right? Like for example, my my buddy runs a Montessori school in Japan, and I think he said every single year, well, actually this past year, 2,000 new babies are born in the specific area that he markets to. And so one thing for him to do that would be really smart, especially on his website, is to say literally like, hey, because I think he said like a full class of Montessori school for Montessori is about 20. I think he said 20 people, like 20 kids. So if he said, hey, this advertisement is going out to all 2,000 new families that are in the area, for their kids, and we're only accepting 20 Montessori students this year. Oh man, bro, that fucking that's spicy. That would be a real good angle. I would recommend that. Gee, if you're watching this, go go do that. There's also other ways, especially if you sell physical products. So you could make a custom, what's it called? You could just make like a new design or a commemorative design and say, hey, this is limited edition. If you sell, like mugs, hey, this is for the Chinese New Year, and this is like the Chinese New Year mug, and we only have 1,000 of them, and you make it a higher price point. Boom, limit supply and access. People want it more because people want what they can't have. So there's that. I've also tricked you because I gave you that was all 7, but I'm gonna give you even more. So we have bonus way number 8, authority bias, and there's a photo of the I think it's the I don't know. I don't even know, man. I think it's the Marines. Who knows? Anyway, yeah. This is the military here. And so if you can explain that in your process, you use methods or tools or resources from trusted authorities, people are more likely to see your offering, your methodology is more credible. Perfect example is if you are, let's say, in the weight loss space, and you say like, hey, actually, part of this routine is how the Marines, get really, really strong, then people are going to see as, well, wow, that's super legit. I mean, with that specific example, you'd also have to say, but don't worry, I make it easy and simple to do, but it's the same proven principle, right? People are going to, weigh that and perceive that value of that offer way more heavily. If you are in the, what was I going to say? Actually, well, this is for any space. If there's a celebrity who uses, this type of process in any capacity, talk about that. Hey, actually, Jennifer Aniston. Let's say you do weight loss for women and beauty and health. You say, hey, Jennifer Aniston swears by this, this methodology, and actually we have it in our program too. Oh wow, Jennifer Aniston's beautiful, and she's like 45, 50, whatever she is. And she still looks great. Well, clearly shows what she's talking about. So integrate that in your content marketing. I got one more bonus for you. Bonus way number 9, social status triggers. This is actually one of my favorite ones to use. And actually, to kind of prepare for this like presentation video thing, I watched a couple skincare commercials just for fun. And I saw this woman. Her name's Trisha. And I think she's like an internet celebrity or something. And she was the face of the ad. So also, by the way, authority bias. And she was saying how she was like, oh yeah. And now all my girlfriends come up to me and go, oh my gosh, Trisha, you're glowing. That's a social status trigger. And so this photo is here for a reason, because the people who your prospect cares the most about getting positive reinforcement from, you want to play it up for them. And so what are their friends going to say? What are their families going to say? What are their peers going to say? What are their enemies going to say? So family, friends, peers, enemies. So peers could be like colleagues and stuff, right? Enemies, right? So once they get the result from your product, what is any of these 4 people going to say? Include that in your marketing. One of my favorite examples of the social status trigger, which you have to be careful with this because this one's pretty fire, and you do it very subtly, is the in the weight loss niche. That sounds funny. Or maybe like, weight loss you could do for men's. This is for men's weight loss specifically. Men's weight loss and fitness, men's testosterone, and health and fitness. If you told a story about how one of your clients overheard one of his teenage daughter's friends calling him a DILF, that would be fucking hilarious and would work super well. Right? Social status trigger. Every older guy wants the younger girls, within appropriate reason, to think they're attractive, right? Or fit. So that's social status trigger. Friends, enemies, peers, and family. And finally, I promise this is the last bonus. I wanted to give you a ton of these, a ton of tools in your arsenal, just so you can kind of see how this works, is status by association. So what kind of people are buying this product? So earlier with number 2, it's people who buy this product or people who. So you're talking about the traits specifically, but now we want to look at who does your ideal client or customer look up to, right? So one of my clients from a while ago, I know we gave a lot of weight loss examples today, but fuck it, whatever. So he has a lot of doctors. He's in the weight loss niche for men. He has a lot of doctors, engineers, and lawyers, and like data scientists who buy into his program. And so me, as the marketer, I would play that up so much and talk about how like super, data scientists and super smart people are all people who buy my offer, because when you buy something, you subconsciously identify yourself as and want to associate yourself with the people who purchase the product, right? So you're going to think, oh man, I'm like, a smart person like these data scientists. I'm a smart person like these, lawyers, right? And so they're increasing their social status by purchasing your offer through association. So if there's, let's say, maybe if you're okay with dropping names, there's names in the industry who've purchased from you. You can talk about that. You can tease about maybe again, if you're like in B2B like myself, you could tease about the size of the business or like just the accomplishments and achievements of your clients and say, hey, one of my clients did this and I'm helping him do that so that he could show up in a better way, right? That actually is going to allow yourself to get more clients and better clients because they want to associate on that same level of status. They kind of want to like be in the room, if that makes sense. So yeah, these are 10, not just 7, these are 10 ways for you to increase the perceived value of your offer without changing a thing about it. So if you take anything away from this, it's never just what you sell, but how you sell it and explain it. So please remember these principles when you write your next ad, email, social media post. And if you have any questions or just enjoyed this video, please comment below. It will be super helpful with the algorithm to show this free information to more people. And if you'd be so kind, it would be awesome for you to like this video and also to subscribe because I'm going to be making some more of these cool trainings and videos. And I'm also taking custom requests. So if you have questions, comments, or if you have a request, you want to see a breakdown, you want to maybe you're having a problem in your business, drop a comment below, and who knows, it might make it into the next video. I hope you have an amazing day. Catch you soon.